Today on the Box Gathering, we have 18-year-old 4-0 professional, 2 times European amateur champion, world silver medalist, 5 times, I believe, national champion. Yeah, got that right. Hardcore Brightonian of Albanian and Yemeni heritage, gearing up for his 5th pro fight on the 21st, I believe, versus the Maltese champion, Leiden Cherko. Adam Maca, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How's it going?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Listen, mate, how many of these have you done since turning pro? Podcasts, chats?
A lot, probably in the hundreds.
In the hundreds. Do you just start going into autopilot when you do
Yeah,
this?
it's sort of. I think when I first turned over, like it's something new. You sort of overcomplicate things in your head, like, but it's more of a chat, really, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
instead of just sort of trying to say too much and do things different, but just got to be yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I like these things to be sort of like 2 guys in a pub holding a pint, having a chat, or in your case, maybe an orange juice. But okay. As I mentioned to you before we push play, I want to really start from the beginning because I always find the beginning is a good place to start, funnily enough. I'm really interested in the part your parents have played in your career, in particular your dad. So could you tell us a little bit more about the journey your dad has had, his background, and kind of the role he plays in your success?
Yeah, you say like particularly my dad, which a lot of it is like I'm 18 years old, I drive, and my dad still takes me to the gym every night. He's at every single session. He does everything. He come over to England when he was 17 from Albania, not a penny in his pocket, just him, a few clothes, and he's just started working, kitchen jobs, nightclubs, started scaffolding. He was working for years for one of my current sponsors owning scaffolding, and then he started his own thing with his business, Maca Scaffolding, and he's flying. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't be where I'm at without my dad. Like I'm an 18-year-old man. I drive. He still takes me to the gym every day. He still drives me everywhere, does everything with me. And then my mum as well. All my food, all I have to do is text my mum. Mum, can I have food ready in 25 minutes, please? My food will be ready. Everything's done. I never have to worry about anything to do with that. Like, especially when you turn professional, you need things to just be a bit easier. If I'm going home from the gym and having to make food and do things, especially when you're training 2 or 3 times a day, it takes up a lot of time. You need your focus to be just on boxing, which is what my parents have done for me.
I think one thing we don't consider about being an elite level athlete is that actually the managing the lifestyle part is something we don't really talk about or think about. You know, we talk about the tech and the tack and the physical and the tapering off and the periodization and your S&C and all those kind of things. And you bring people in for that, but who really talks to you about, right, so after the gym, what you're doing? Well, what am I eating? How am I getting home? Well, that takes a lot of time up and a lot of energy up as well.
Yeah.
Having people supporting you in those areas and managing your lifestyle is really important. I'll tell you why, because I'm just working with one of our boxers here at Dyson, looking at his lifestyle and where he can save hours, where he can get more sleep or more time for himself so he can grow as a young person, that kind of stuff. And I think we miss that. So having your mum creating the food, your dad's driving you, that's enormous in terms of you needing to think about what you need to think about, not worrying about getting home and creating the food, etc. So another thing I saw when I was just looking around and researching before we we're having this chat is that when your dad comes into training, he sits in a chair and he keeps quiet.
Yeah.
Why is that important?
To be fair, you see so many kids and like they'll go back to the corner, their dads will be shouting from the side, and you're in 2 minds. Like, you're looking at your dad while your coach is trying to speak to you. Like, kids are getting confused. I think personally, I think if you're going to take your kid to a coach in a boxing gym, then let them coach. If you want to coach them from the sidelines, then you coach them. Especially a sport like boxing, it's one person in the ring. Like, but yeah, my dad, for that, that's your coach. You listen to your coach. You don't listen to me. But even my coach, he trusts my dad with everything. Obviously, my dad's been with me from the age of 5 with the boxing. So the other week we went up to Manchester. My dad come with me doing my corner, and my coach was happy with that. Apart from that, when I'm in the gym training, he's just got his chair, and just watches and listens.
That's brilliant. So it's clear what the lines are and what the responsibilities are for these people. He's being a dad to you, which is so important.
Yeah.
Not being a coach, but kind of knows when to step in if he needs to. But that's an agreement. That's an agreement with Dan. So let's rewind it back to when you first started boxing. Describe the moment you walked into a boxing gym.
I was five or just probably nearly 6, down at Fishersgate. I'm at the Shark Park, and I was there for a few months before Dale Carey kicked me out, distracting the other kids and just being a nuisance basically. And then he just said to my mum, can't have him in here basically, he's just too much. And then I went back when I was a bit older, probably just touching 7, 8, and I just fell in love with it. The training, sparring, rather than just trying to distract the kids and things. I just loved boxing. And I remember my first spar, that was the first time. I remember Steve saying about getting a gum shield and things. And I thought, oh, brilliant. And my first time sparring, having a fight and things, that's when I thought I want to do this for the rest of my life.
So were you a bit of a pain in the arse when you were younger then?
Yeah, big time, yeah.
So was that the actual reason then your mum and your dad, I think you said your mum took you down, didn't she, and said, right, bit of a pain in the arse, let's throw him in the boxing gym and see if this helps out?
Yeah, we was always doing everything, me and my sisters as kids, gymnastics, dance, football, and then she took us down the boxing gym. But for me especially, I used to like fighting a lot, even in school, if someone would say something, especially at that age, 6, 7, 8, then the first thing I'd do is just think to throw my hands. So boxing obviously has massively helped with that.
And I suppose as well, when you go along to a club, you need to get a bit of a feel for the place, right? So when you've gone along to Fishersgate, you've got Steve Reed, who I used to box with, go through the sort of the amateurs with him, who's an incredible guy, kind guy, really looks out for you. Dale as well, Dale Carey. I know he's always on social media. I always see him following you and sending you messages, and really, he really loves you. And I think you had Justin Murphy, Mark Berry as well.
Berry,
who
Nick.
Else? Oh yeah, Nick. Yeah. So you had a big team there, a big family. So how?
Yeah, especially obviously me and that's one of the biggest parts of boxing. The fact it's like a lonely sport and a one-man sport. There's so much more to it than that one-man sort of thing. Yeah. It's in the ring, obviously, it's just you, but there's so much more than what you're fighting for. You fight for yourself, but everyone around you, having a good team around you is so important. Me and Dale, we're still really close. I saw Steve yesterday, I was speaking to him. But yeah, it's so important, building that sort of strong bond.
And I wonder, I mean, like I say, 2 times European champions, world silver medalist, unbeaten pro, 5 times national champion, etc. Blowing a bit of sunshine up your backside here. I wonder, does that happen if your first encounter with amateur boxing, where you're meeting Steve Reeds and Dale Careys, etc., if they're not the people they are and create that environment they have in that club, are you even in boxing right now?
Well, it's one of them. Who knows? It's obviously with Fishersgate, you just fell in love with the environment of it. It was such a family gym. Everyone was so close. So that's sort of what brought that love to boxing. So so it's very important having that good environment around.
Yeah, completely. And I remember once, I can't remember what show it was somewhere down in Southampton. I can't remember which one it was.
A Golden Ring show.
Was it a Golden Ring show? And I watched you box there, and I don't know if it was your second or third, because you lost your first 3 bouts, didn't you?
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know which one it was, the second or third like that. And again, it's easy for me to blow sunshine up your backside because you're in front of me now. But I remember watching that and you lost. But I remember everyone in the crowd was so inspired by your courage and heart and how much. I think the kid just had the edge on you, maybe technically.
Yeah.
But you were just like, I'm not going to let this kid beat me. Yeah. And I just remember going up to you after and just going, mate, you shouldn't care that you've lost so much on that one. That was incredible what you just did there. And you don't really see those bouts. Sometimes you see once in a blue moon a bout where you go, whoa, do you remember that bout? Yeah. And I remember that bout, and that was 8 years ago. Hi everyone, just jumping in with this interview with Adam Maca, just to let everybody know that we have now started the Box Gathering Forum. So it is a free forum on our website where you can jump on and talk about lots of different topics that we have posted on there to do with coach development, boxer development, and anything in between. So if you want to join in, it's free of charge. You need to be 18 plus. Jump on and let's see what conversations we can have in our community of practice. Cheers, guys. That's the Box Gathering Forum. Now back to the episode with Adam Maca. Cheers.
Yeah, it would have been 8 years ago, yeah.
8, oh, bloody hell, done the maths quite well there. Yeah, and I just remember thinking, so you could see from the start that something was inside you, which now doesn't surprise me seeing where you are now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for me, like that's such an important thing. Like I boxed in my first Europeans that I won in 2022. I won best fight of the tournament, and for me, that's better than winning the best boxer of the tournament. Getting the best fight with my opponent, who was a Romanian kid, out of 400 odd fights that went on in the whole tournament. That for me was like, yes. Like I've obviously I'm a bit of an entertainer, but it's that digging deep. Like I lost the first round, I won the second and third, but it's like having them sort of fights and that fire in you to win. I think that's what people want to see. And I said it at a press conference on my debut. I was like, I wanna bring that back to boxing, that sort of old school of like digging deep and getting into it.
So that's interesting that you're seeing that the kind of process of, it's not so much winning, and of course winning's important in boxing. Ultimately you have to be able to win, but also what's rewarding you is that kind of intrinsic feel of, I've been in a war there with this guy, we've both put it on the line, mono and mono, and that came out so important to you as winning a medal.
Yeah.
And I think that sort of speaks to maybe a lot of your motivation.
100%. Like winning the gold medals, like great, you're top of the podium at the European Championships, and then I got told afterwards, you've got to wait around, you've got an award. And not for a second in my head, I thought there's no way I've got the best boxer, like, because maybe technically, especially then, I wasn't technically amazing. I could be, but like I said, I liked bringing that fire. And then when I won best fight of the tournament with the other kid, I was buzzing. I was well happy with that. I got a nice big trophy. So yeah, that was an amazing achievement for me, especially from how many fights there was in the tournament.
Yeah, you've got all the very technical Uzbeks there and all these types of people with the certain styles. Yeah.
Well,
absolutely.
you say that, and I remember my first World Championships. The first round, I drew Uzbekistan. I thought, oh, here we go. But then I brung out the technical side myself, and I just completely outboxed him. It's one of them.
Well, this is the question I was going to ask you later, but I'll ask you it now then. You talk about outboxing an opponent, because I wonder what most people think of you as when they say Adam Maca. What's Adam Maca all about? Well, I'll ask you that question. Firstly, what do you think people think Adam Maca is about?
Well, all I ever hear, really, because it's funny you say this, because yesterday I was saying to my family, someone commented on Matchroom's post of me and said, looks like he's got a bit of Bivol in him. And I said, oh my God, I was like, that's the best thing anyone's ever said about me. Like, but most of the time it's power, very fit, exciting to watch. But everyone sort of forgets anyone can be strong, fit, powerful. You can build that up, but you have to have a boxing brain to also be able to win fights, world championships, Europeans. But I think just because of how I approach fights, people think of Adam Maca as like machine, strong, comes to knock people out, which is true. But also I've got a boxing brain about me as well.
Mm-hmm. And this is why I brought it up, because I think the label on the jar is that it's exciting, it's power, it's relentlessness, it's all these that's kind of the label on the jar. But when you look into the jar and have a look at the contents, I'm watching bounce back of you, and you're going in, and when you talk about Bivol, you're pushing away with a jab and you're resetting, and you still got that jab there, you're still balanced, ready to go again, sustain, keeping pressure, taking the initiative with small refined movement. So yes, we see power, smash, but I'm also looking at it and going, no, there's a lot of method in what's going on here, so that power's controlled.
Like I said, like if it was just power and relentlessness and fitness, then any boxer, you just say to him, right, get in the gym, do a load of running, do a load of strength, and you'll go and win loads. But you need that boxing brain, and like you said, it's little things that people don't see. They just see the smashing part of it.
So if you were like a top trump card, you might have that kind of like speed 8, 9, power and courage, you know, like 9, 10 sort of thing. But then if you ask someone about the skill, they might think, oh, I'm not quite sure. But I'm thinking, do you know what, that skill level's up there as well.
I'd say
If
it
you're a
matches it.
Absolutely. And, you know, and as you mentioned earlier, things like strength, speed, a lot of these are controllable things that you can develop. And most pro boxers should develop these things. I think a lot of it's God-given as well and genetic.
Yeah.
But you can develop these things too. But the skill element, you have to do the reps.
I think as I move through the professional ranks and my rounds go up and things, I think people will see that boxing brain and that the skill. But at the moment, like, my last 4 have been 4-rounders, so there's no time to be trying to outbox people. You just want to get them out of there. Now I'm in my 6s, so I'll take a bit more time. When I'm in the 8s, 10s, 12s, like, it's a different sort of game.
Absolutely. So I want to, and Cherkop is 6, isn't it? You're doing a 6-rounder against him.
Yeah, 6-rounder, yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. So we mentioned about Fisher's Gate, and then you've gone on to Rumbles. So you've been working with Charlie, with Billy, etc. at Rumbles. Yeah. How much was that instrumental in not just your success, but like how you box?
Yeah, how I boxed, that was like a massive change. Obviously, Charlie and Billy, but also the boys who I was around.
Yeah.
So all the kids I was sparring, like, I hadn't won a national title yet when I moved out. I think I was 13. And all the boys, they're like national champions and things. And I'm thinking, I want to be a national champion. I'm sparring them. I'm falling over my feet just because their movement's a bit better than mine. And over time, a few months and that, just being there, like, my feet got better. My selection got better. My thinking, rather than just rushing into things, got better. So that made a massive part in, like you said, how I boxed, rather than just that relentlessness. It was like using that boxing brain as well.
But I like from the point that the gym and who you've got in the gym and who you spar with almost dictates your skill level, because you can have coaches saying the right things to you and giving you good instruction, of course, but unless you've got a kid who is moving their feet, that makes you stop falling over your front foot.
Yeah.
Therefore, it makes you balanced. And now if you're balanced, you're now able then to pick a better shot because you're balanced and ready to pick a shot. And now you're actually thinking, which shot should I throw or defense should I use? Because I'm now balanced and I can see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
See what I mean? So, and that's, I think, a really important part. So you won quite a few national titles with Rumbles, didn't you?
One school, 3. Sorry, 3. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love the fact that you lose count of these things as well. It makes it even more exciting. Right, and then finally you moved on to Ropes and Glory with Dan and the rest of the team there. So, and of course you're under Dan's tutelage as a pro. So how does that work for you? What do they now bring to Adam Maca?
To be fair, both Dans are so different. Like, when I'm with young Dan and we're in the gym and we're doing a tech session, I'll spend, say we're doing 8 rounds of pads. I probably won't do much punching, but he'll be talking to me. We'll be going through things, which I didn't realise was so important until I started doing it. Like, when you're talking through things and just speaking about stuff, it adds so much to your boxing brain. And then with Big Dan, it's like, yeah, again, that relentlessness, but using stuff that keeping the relentlessness with the stuff that I've been doing with Little Dan. But as a pair, it's amazing having both of them. But there's just been so many little tweaks, even just my jab, just from using my jab a bit more. My movement, everything's just improved, especially over the last 6 months. Whereas an amateur, I think things where you've got 3 rounds, it is just about winning the fight, getting the most points. And as a professional, you slow things down a little bit, and it's using your brain a bit more.
Mm-hmm. I was chatting to both of them the other day at the junior championship, Southern Counties. Yeah, they are different, but they also think they think in a different way, but they come back to the same.
But they come back to the same, yeah.
Same point, yeah. And that's important, I think, for your understanding. You're not getting pulled by one and pulled by the other, because when you do, as you go pro, there is multiple people involved in what you're doing. See this, psychologist, that, nutritionist, this.
Yeah.
Coach 1, coach 2. And then, of course, you've got your manager, and then you've got Matchroom, and you're right in the middle of that. You're in the middle of that web.
Yeah.
And if different things are coming from different corners, then you've got a
Well,
confused boxer.
I think if everyone stays in their own lane, there's never any
Yeah.
confusion. And for me, I'm lucky. Everyone who's part of my team, my boxing coaches, they stay to their boxing. My nutritionist, he sticks to my weight and the nutrition. My S&C coach, he does his job. And as long as like they're all communicating, like say I need to move up a weight, my nutritionist will communicate with Dan or communicate with my S&C coach saying, is he doing anything different? Why is he growing? Like, but as long as everyone sort of stays in their own role, like there's never any confusion.
Brilliant. Another question I'll ask you. What about fear? When you go into bouts, and there's different levels of nerves at different times, we're walking into an arena, you might walk into a crap hole like Madison Square Garden in your first bout, this sort of stuff versus Castilla. Do you get levels of anxiety nerves?
Fear, there is no. For me, it's like it's something that I love doing so much. There's never been like a fear of anything apart from underperforming.
Okay.
And so my family, like my support is massive. Even when I've been in Europeans, World Championships, obviously abroad and things, all my family's been there. Everyone's been there, whether there's 10, 20, 30 of us. So just the fact, even my friends, I had my friends come out to New York, all my family. So having that, it's like, right, everyone's here for me, so I can't underperform here. And that also plays a part in training as well. It gives you that extra push when you're training, thinking you don't want to underperform, so you want to train properly and do things properly. But that's the only fear and nerves that I'd say I get.
So it's like, I've heard you say, and a lot of people say it's about, pressure makes diamonds, all the kind of bits and pieces. There's a pressure put on you from your support, but that pressure is actually not seen as something that's making you nervous. It's seen as something that's a bit of a catalyst to help, because I want to show these and I want these to see me box well and perform and win. So it depends how you frame it. And it seems like you're framing it in your mind as, I don't want to let them down, but actually this pushes me forward.
Yeah. That's the way I think of it, yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, I just want to change gears a little bit if I could, Ads. What do you think good coaching is? Because this podcast is mainly about coaching. And so you've had lots of different coaches from club level to pro, England level, etc. What do you think good coaching is? And what do you see when you experience good coaching?
I think good coaching is understanding your boxer, and not just their way of boxing, but their way of thinking as well. Because everyone's body mechanics are different. Everyone's sort of built different. So if someone comes to you and they're really good at something, they're really good at coming forward, being relentless, like, yeah, you need to build that other side of them, but you need to work with what they're good at, because that's where they're going to excel. If you take what they're good away from them to try add something else in, I think that's then when they'll start sort of losing or not looking as good. I think it's very important to be an all-round fighter and add things. But the main thing, I think personally, is keeping what they've got and working with that. Just adding, like for me, it's like keeping what I've got, that relentlessness, that power, just with the relentlessness, being more accurate, meaning the shots more, landing more shots rather than just arm punches, getting through the guard, but also moving that head. So I can keep my relentlessness and do everything while thinking defensively and just being a bit more aware.
So what I'm hearing is, if someone's come back to you and go, Adam, you don't really box that much on the back foot, that kind of 2 steps back and check hook and move this sort of stuff. I think we should do that now, because you don't do it very often. You're stripping away what you're very, very good at.
Yeah, I think
and you're
it's
changing
good
the DNA almost.
Yeah, I think it's good to learn it and be able to sort of pull it out if you need it, but it shouldn't be sort of pushed into you need to do that and box like that.
So doubling down on your super strengths, as opposed to, you're really doubling down. If you think about like a tree, we're doubling down on the roots and the bark and the branches, but we're not worried about the twigs and the leaves too much. But
Exactly,
if we need to address that, we can sort of push that in a little bit.
Also, I don't know if you remember, but I would have been 10 or 11. We come over sparring with Fisherskate, and I remember you was speaking highly of me. I remember Dale saying to me, like, Adam Hannibal's like, maybe one day like you'll get on the England squad and things. I remember I got to like when I was 14 and I got on the England squad, and just Dale just reminded me of that.
Oh, bloody hell. Well, again, that must have been
7 years ago, 8 years.
7 years ago. Wow. Well, give me a crystal ball, mate. I think that crystal ball's worked quite well then, isn't
That's
it?
it.
But there are certain things you can coach. Is coachability something you can coach? What is coachability? I don't really know.
There's that thing as well. Like some fighters, then they're not as great as at listening. For me, when I watch boxing and I watch something, and you're looking from an outside, you can see so much, and you think, why don't they do that? Why don't they do this? So when I box and my coaches are saying things and doing things, in my head they can see better than I can.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna listen, and to be fair, touch wood, everything's been good. I listen and it works. But if you listen and you do what your coaches are saying and it doesn't work, well, maybe then you've got the coach to blame. But you've got so many fighters who just blame the coaches straight away when they lose or do things. But did you listen to the coach? Did you actually do what you was asked? But also there's that thing, especially when you get to a higher level, the coach is good for that in between rounds, but you should be able to adapt yourself when you're fighting. You shouldn't need constant speaking to.
Yeah, I mean, in coaching, they call it education of attention. There you go, some fancy words for you. And a coach can educate your attention. In other words, where might you be looking? But ultimately, you need to pick up on those cues. You need to pick up on what the guy's doing, that information, and he can help nudge you in that space. So the barrage of information doesn't work, but just a little nudge here. Oh, I need to just look here a little bit more. That's what being skillful is, isn't it? Right? It's being adaptable to what's happening in front of you. And boxing's the hardest sport in the world, because some nutcase is trying to knock your head off at the same time while you're trying to pick up on information. So that makes a lot of sense to me. So how's the prep been for the 21st, isn't it? I think for
21st,
yeah, same day as my show. But I'll try and get to yours. I'll try and get to watch yours, mate. Yeah. So how's the prep been for it?
To be fair, it's been really good. It was meant to be March the 7th, so we've sort of been a bit up and down, like with training. You start sort of upping it a bit, and then it's like, all right, March 1st, like let's sort of just balance it out for a bit. Every camp, to be fair, like as long as I think if I'm putting 100%, I'm following my nutritionist plans and things. I'm doing everything I need to do, and I'm giving it 100%. Then I think camps are flying.
Again, it's that control the controllables, isn't it? And if you've got people helping you with structure, then it's important. Do you feel like structure is something that you thrive on?
My days sort of don't change, so that I have a structure. Obviously, it's like Monday 7 a.m, Tuesday 9 a.m, and then boxing will be like 4 p.m, 4 p.m, 4 p.m. So my days, my days don't change, I think that is great for me. I wake up, I know exactly what I'm doing, I know exactly what's happening, I know what I have time for, I know what I can fit into places, even like haircuts, and so I think it is very important, having a structure.
Absolutely. And in coaching, we talk a lot about the sort of the boxer triangle. So you've got the boxer, you've got the person, and you've got the athlete, and you need to invest in all three of those, right? So S&C, let's talk about S&C. So that's the athlete. Now the box is the skill part, the sparring, the learning, developing. But I think a lot of pros it's a bit of a sweeping comment, but maybe a lot of the pros forget about the person. How are you developing yourself as a person, that you're happy, that you've got time to yourself to develop as a person as well? So my question is, how do you look after Adam as the person?
To be honest, I literally spend all my time at this gym, Fit Lab. So I finished training at 7 this morning, and I'm still here now. It's 10:30, and after this, I'm gonna go back in there and just chill in there for a bit. It's sort of like a downtime for me. There's no chat about boxing. Even if I go to my house, like there's obviously my room, like around the walls, like everything's boxing. You got like all your supplements and things there, and it's like being in the gym, as weird as it sounds, is like my time away from anything to do with training and boxing. So I can just go sit in there, like have a coffee, sit on the sofa for a bit, just have a laugh when people are walking in and out throughout the day. So that's my downtime, just being here.
And that sounds like that's really important to you as well.
Yeah.
Because, like I say, you need that balance. If that part's not there, the person part, the triangle falls, right?
And I think as well, where there's obviously people coming in and out all day, like you get to meet people, just speak to people. I'm quite a talkative person anyway, so it's great. I just sit at reception, I can just chat away to people.
And people have got to like you, and they've got to buy into you, because you're in an industry now, aren't you? You're in a professional game where people need to buy into you. So how important is social media and the promotion and the fact that you've got this juggernaut of Matchroom behind you? How important is that about what a pro boxer needs to do to promote themselves?
Yeah, obviously 20, 30 years ago, even like 10, it wasn't as big, using social media and things to sort of build your brand. But now it's like such a massive thing. Like on my debut, I posted a TikTok afterwards and it done like 3 million views, 70,000 likes, and it just brought like a massive following to me. So it just shows how much of an impact social media is. Even some of the amateurs now, they're doing social media and things, and it brings them a massive following, but also it brings that extra bit of pressure, which is where I don't think amateurs sort of should be doing it as much, because it brings that pressure that's not needed. And obviously as a professional, that's where you build your money, it's your business. So yeah, there's ways around it. Have people running your stuff and things. But yeah, like overall I'd say it's a good thing.
And your shop window has got to be a nice shop window. People have got to want to look in there and like what's there. And in your shop window, you've got what people think Adam Maca is: aggressive, exciting, completely suited to the pros. But we also know that there's that skill part of that as well.
Yeah.
There's skill in that shop window too, and everyone around Brighton loves you. Again, sunshine up your backside, mate. But everyone around Brighton loves, and that's important. So having a city like Brighton behind you is really important, isn't it? Because it's an amazing city. I'm from Eastbourne, but I work in Brighton. It's an amazing city. So being a Brightonian, how important is that to you?
Yeah, that's such, like the town is like everyone's sort of different. There's no like, oh, people from Brighton are like that. Everyone's sort of their own person. Everyone gets along. Everyone's always chatting away. And having that, like you said, having that support network is like so important, especially when I want to box here one day, for a title and sell it out. It's like having that backing behind you is massively important.
Ultimate goal, then. I mean, this is a question every bloody pro boxer gets asked. The ultimate goal. So I'm just going to rejink it a little bit. If you look back in, let's maybe say 15 years, right? What do you want people to remember? Oh, I remember Adam Maca. So it's 15 years in the future. Looking back, how do you want to remember? I'm not interested really. I want to be a world champion, because we get all that, right?
Yeah.
But what do you want to be remembered for as a bit of a legacy of what Adam Maca is if I'm reading a newspaper in 15 years' time?
I want to be remembered as that guy's like nice outside the ring, in the ring, like it's sort of a different game. He switches into that fight mode, and I want to be known for having great fights. That's what I want to do, and come out on top every time. But ultimately, I want to be in amazing fights like the Gatties versus Ward, and I watch them fights now, and it gets me all excited. Like I think yes, but. So it's you want to be involved in them sort of things.
And when you're watching those back as well, you're probably also thinking, I probably need to do a few more sit-ups and a bit more core work, just in case. All right, final one for you, mate. I think it's a sort of responsibility of all pro boxers to almost give back to the community. An important message.
Yeah.
So what message would you give to any Brightonian-based boxer, or I suppose any boxer really, young boxer, who is finding the start of their boxing career tough? The amateur, they're finding it tough. Maybe they've lost a few. What are you saying to those people, mate?
I'd say, not even kids from Brighton, any boxer. I lost my first three, and it is honestly the worst thing in the world, losing. But it makes that win 10 times sweeter. And when you start winning, it makes it so much better than just if you win all the time. There's none of that buzz when you do win. It sort of just becomes a bit stale.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just about working hard and pushing through it. It's amateur boxing, 3 rounds. Like there's always going to be close fights. Like no fights as an amateur aren't most of the time close. So it's just about getting back to the gym every time, working hard, and taking everything in, like enjoying it rather than turning it into something else. You've just got to enjoy it.
And I think that's a really important message. Enjoy what you're doing. It's the best sport in the world, and the word amateur means for the love of. So love the sport. And listen, guys, you're hearing it from someone who's going to go the whole way in the boxing game. Ads, thanks very much, mate. Thanks for your time. Good luck good luck on the 21st. I'm sure you'll stick it all over it, mate. It's a bit more of a step up, as we mentioned, which is perfect for you. And keep doing what you're doing, mate. Not just in the ring, but for Brighton and for boxing.
If you enjoyed today's episode, then head on over to theboxgathering.com. We have a wide range of resources for coaches, boxers, and boxing parents to support you and your club on the road to success. As a member of the Box Gathering, you'll find online courses that enhance your knowledge and expertise, videos and articles covering the most important topics to do with boxing development, and shareable resources to support your club's development. Join a community that includes some of the best coaches and coach educators at theboxgathering.com. The Box Gathering. Connect, share, grow.